In a world full of pop filters, Porfirio said, "Hey, take that thing off."
From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov.
So no pop filter on the LS-208, and it does make a big difference. I'm talking about the optional Shulze-Brakel pop filter that they sent me. This thing sells for like $39, and it's a definite upgrade over the little foam Cossack hat that they give you to put on the Lauten LS-208. This is made out of some kind of special foam. It does make a sonic difference, though. So when I put the pop filter on, it does kind of smooth it out a little bit more. It gives it more of a broadcasty sound. It definitely takes a little bit of that detail off the top end. But with the ability of the 208 to reach up past 15K, sometimes it can be a little bit too bright. So taking the edge off it a little bit with this is kind of nice. But I do like it wide open like this. Now, what I have it set on is I have the high pass filter at 50 hertz, and I have the low pass filter off. I can switch the low pass filter to 10, and there's 50 hertz high pass, 10 hertz low pass. Definitely more of a condensed dynamic sound. Just barely finishing my first coffee, so bear with me. And if I open it all the way up on the bottom end, I mean, you can really hear it. It's a little bit too much. It's like way too much. And if I do this, if I put it on 120 and give it that real mid-range push, I mean, again, I think that it sounds great without the pop filter, but it does serve a very utilitarian purpose as well. And that's because the 208 is intended to be used like this. I mean, you're supposed to basically eat it. And so, when you use it this close, you're going to get more breath vapor, more spit on the capsule, especially if you use it for music or you're shouting into it. So, I mean, it's helpful for the longevity of your mic. I get it. But it does sound much more wide open without it. So I thought what I'd do, actually, is I do a couple of trailer voice type reads between this and the Clarion. Because the video I did before with just doing the trailer voice on the Clarion, I realized afterwards I left the 208 out of the equation. So let's do that. So I think the best trailer voice sound is probably this one, with the 120 hertz high pass on and the low pass off. So you really get more of that. So let's try that. But here I'm just gonna compare this real quick to the Clarion. Hold on. Oops. Okay. So this is the Clarion, and it definitely doesn't have the wide open high end in the same way that the 208 does. But if I take the Clarion, hold on, and I adjust it, I put the 10 dB boost on it, and adjust the volume accordingly, then this is what we get. All right, so this is more of a much more of a high-end forward sound than on the 0 dB setting. So hold on. Oh, all right. So this is the 208 with a 120 hertz high pass on. I said that already. So this is the 208 in what I would call promo configuration. And this is the Clarion in what I would also call promo configuration. So let's do a little head-to-head. In a world gone mad, in a world gone mad, in a world gone mad, in a world gone mad. One microphone will rule them all. One microphone will rule them all. One microphone will rule them all. All right, let's give it a little bit more 50. In a world gone mad, in a world gone mad. In a world gone mad, in a world gone mad. This is the LS-208. The LS-208 by Lauten. This is the Clarion by Lauten. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like this has a more of a forward nature in that range. But I'm not sure if I think that the 50 is too much. Let me go back to the 120 again. All right, yeah. I think it may need that. It may need a little bit more low end push. especially when you compare it to this. The way this feels a little bit more balanced. And the thing is with the Clarion, right? The Clarion has this, the boost in the pad switch. It has like a built-in tilt EQ to it. There's some other things going on in the circuit, but there's like a tilt EQ. And this is just a high-pass filter. There's no booster or anything in it. Let's see. Let's go back to 50. You know, I do think for promo, this is a little bit too much on the bottom end. It's more radio sounding. But I think for voiceover, it's a little bit too much low-end energy there. Let me go back to here. I think this is going to be the better version of this. Coming this fall, one night only. Coming this fall, one night only. When the top 10 hitmen face off in a last man standing contest, being bet on by some of the world's richest men, the only rule is to stay alive. When the top 10 hitmen face off in a last man standing contest, being bet on by some of the world's richest men, the only rule is to stay alive. And for retired assassin Johnny Dane, getting out of the business doesn't mean getting out of the game. And for retired assassin Johnny Dane, getting out of the business doesn't mean getting out of the business doesn't mean getting out of the game. Getting out of the game. The game. Getting out of the game. Game, mama. 50 hertz back on. Getting out of the game. All right, so here's my takeaway real quick. And this is the first time I'm actually doing this experiment. So I like it. I definitely think it sounds a little bit more full, obviously, on the bottom end with the 50 instead of the 120. Let's go back to the 120. The 120 has a really nice mid-range push, but I think it definitely would have to have a little bit more EQ in the bottom end. I think I'd have to bring up about 100, just a touch of 100. But this, I feel, is like so much more balanced for that. I mean, the plus 10 dB switch on the Clarion really just, turns this into, I think, a much, a better fit for a promo voice thing for me. At least that's my feeling. Because even though there is low-end presence there, it doesn't feel as heavy as here. So I think that if you had to duck it out even a little bit more, it would not emasculate it so much. So, the Lauten Clarion. This mic is great for promo. And the Lauten LS-208. This mic is great for pretty much anything. So what do you think? Let's go back to 50. All right, so the LS-208 with no pop filter and as a trailer tool. What do we think of this one compared to the Clarion? All right, I need to know what you're thinking. Let me know in the comments. Until next time. This is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.